Hey, hobby friends. The of-Hyperborea here, the only man on YouTube with a face for radio and a voice for print. Coming at you again with a quick one tonight. Pardon the glare on the glasses, it's from my laptop. I'm actually out on vacation this week, but I saw a video from DM James who was talking about using Dungeons and Dragons and games like it as role playing games. And it really got me thinking because I had always considered D&D a war game first, as a nod to its tactical roots. Gygax and Arneson and those guys, they made D&D from a war game. And I don't think that's a dig or an insult. I just consider that a historical truism. And I do know that there are varieties. And so my answer to DM James' question, or the question to his question, is GURPS a role playing game? I don't know if you guys know, but GURPS is the Steve Jackson game, and it's an acronym that stands for the Generic Universal Role Playing System. Some folks say that it's not a game at all because it's got system in the title, and it's up to the GM to make the game himself or herself. But I consider that also a truism for all role-playing games. It's up to the DM to develop the setting as much as there is a setting, much less, again, in tactical war games where the setting is made for you. But I'd like to read a little bit from, this is from the GURPS basic set. Page 5, the R in GURPS stands for role-playing. Role-playing, quote, "This is not just a hack and slash game. The rules are written to make true role-playing possible and, in fact, to encourage it. GURPS is a game in which you take on the persona of another character and pretend for a little while to be that character." This is how I and always have played role-playing games, and it's something that attracts me to the GMing side of things. When I am the GM, I become the bartender, I become the evil wizard, I become the king. And I'm not Gary Oldman. I'm not a method actor. I'm just a guy who likes to become for a little while and to make merry and to make the setting of the game the character that I play. I play all the bad guys and the good guys that are not PCs, and I play the world, and I play the ship, and I play the rain and the sun and the moon and the stars. And that character takes on a life of its own. But role playing, GURPS is a role playing game. I'd like to read you another one from. This is from GURPS Lite, which is the free version you can download at Steve Jackson Games, sjgames.com. Look for GURPS Lite. The definition of the glossary of a role playing game: RPG, quote, "A game in which players take on the personalities of imaginary individuals or characters in a fictional or historical setting and try to act as those characters would." Am I saying this is for everybody? No, I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm not even saying it's for everyone that plays role-playing games. I am saying that it is the intention of the game as written. Is it your game? No. What's the first rule of gaming? The first rule of gaming is have fun. What's the second rule of gaming? Your hobby, your way. This is your role-playing game, but again, to compare and contrast with my friend DM James had said, if you want to play a role-playing game, GURPS is on the table. If you want to play a all-in-one version of GURPS that is easy to run, GURPS Dungeon Fantasy is all in one box. There are some new supplements that are not part of that box, but it is more styled to the Dungeons and Dragons type player in that it has character templates which are not classes as a D&D player would know them, but do have everything in one package to limit GURPS's flaw of analysis paralysis for players and game masters alike. Um, Again, role playing. This is from the introduction to GURPS Dungeon Fantasy. What is role playing? A role playing game is a social activity in which all the participants but one take part of, play the role of, fictional characters who have adventures. Think of these characters as the protagonists of a TV series. The last person, the game master, has a job closer to that of the series director. While everybody involved could be called a player, that traditionally refers to gamers other than the GM. Consequently, their players are called player characters. I could not have said it any better. It succinctly defines my opinion of the demarcation between player and DM, GM, keeper, referee, whatever your game system calls that person, and the player characters and the roles that each of them play in the role-playing game. So, is D&D an RPG? I don't know. Is Pathfinder or any other game RPGs? I don't know. Is Call of Cthulhu a role-playing game? I believe so. Same for Cyberpunk 2020. Same for GURPS. And same for Champions and a few others. But GURPS is a role-playing game. So if you'd like to start, again, GURPS Lite is everything you need to get started. It's about 20 pages. After that, you just need 3d6 and a pencil and a pad. If you want to play an all-in-one fantasy setting, GURPS Dungeon Fantasy is, I think you can find it for like $60 or $70 used. I think I got a new copy with a sun-faded box for like $50 on eBay. It's still in print. You can find it probably on drive-through. Definitely Steve Jackson Games Amazon page, Warehouse 23, which is their web store. You can do an internet search for it. I'm just trying to encourage people to role play, to be the character that they play, to do a little bit of play pretend. You did it when you were a kid. You can do it again. The game should be more about chucking math rocks and having tactical combat against pretend monsters. And it should definitely not be an analog of an MMO, right? It's not an analog of any of the online games that people play. So that's really all I got right now. Again, I like to keep them around 9 minutes. Is GURPS a role-playing game? By definition, GURPS is a role-playing game. Are other tabletop games role-playing games? You've got to decide that for yourself. In the meantime, I bid you well. Have a safe holiday weekend. And I bid you peace.